So now, which mic for which instrument? Now, we talked about SPL and the brass instruments with this sound pressure level thing, right? And that we had to be careful about that because condenser microphones don't react favorably to the sound pressure level. That's because they're so sensitive. That much energy all at once is just like a daffodil in the wind. Blow it right over. You can actually be equalizing with the microphone that you pick. That is a frequency response chart that you see there. First of all, the circle thing up on the top is a polar pattern diagram. It tells you how that microphone hears. You've got a dotted line, and then you've got a uniquely dotted line, and then a solid line. And they're explaining here that the uniquely dotted line is the reading for 125 cycles per second. So real low frequencies will be picked up that way. Then the solid line has almost the same pickup pattern towards the back of the mic, is a little bit different. And then the solid line was 1,000 cycles per second, and then the dotted line is 12,500 cycles per second, and that's showing you that the rear of that microphone actually hears those higher frequencies better than it hears the lower frequencies. But the entire pattern is basically based towards the front of the microphone. So if this is the microphone right here, like this, and this is directly on axis, which means I am directly at 0 axis to the microphone. If I was to go like this, I would be 90 degrees off axis. If I was to go like this, I'd be 45 degrees off axis. What this is saying is this is a cardioid pattern. It's going to pick up in the front of the mic like a heart and not pick up in the back, except for those high frequencies around 12,000. It's going to hear a little bit of them. So now you can see that the pickup characteristics of that microphone are outlined in that polar pattern as to how it hears. Now down below that, it's going to tell you what it hears. And this particular microphone is almost a perfect microphone. It's pretty hard to get a microphone to do that. If you look at it, it's got 0 dB in the middle, correct? You see that line in the middle it's labeled as 0 dB? That 0 dB is reference to 0 on the VU, which means so much volume. If I put a tone at 0 on the VU meter into this microphone, we want to know, does it come out at that same volume level? The numbers on the bottom are indicating cycles per second. The lowest number is 20 cycles per second. And then it goes all the way up to 40,000 cycles per second, which is 20,000 cycles per second above our hearing range. Now, this microphone is telling us that what comes in is what comes out. That is a wonderful microphone. Now, what you would use a microphone like this for, other than just about anything you wanted to put it on, as long as it could stand the sound pressure level, is when you balance your control room. A microphone spectrum analyzation there. How does this microphone hear? And you can see that this microphone is a lot different than the one you just looked at. Look at it. Does it really hear anything down by 20 cycles a second? Doesn't start hearing anything till maybe around 60, and it hears it at -3. And then it doesn't hear anything even until about 150 cycles. It hears that pretty even, and then it boosts it a little bit at around 600 cycles. Then it hears it pretty flat up into 1,000, 2,500, 5,000, about 8,000 cycles. It starts to roll off, and by the time it gets to 15,000, it's down to hearing -4. So that microphone certainly isn't what we just looked at, right? But that would have certain qualities for certain instruments. It doesn't say what kind of microphone that is, because it's just saying that that's a frequency response chart. But let's say if that microphone were maybe a ribbon, we certainly could put that on the trumpet or the trombone for sure. Maybe not on the trumpet, because we'd like to have a little more high end on the mic, because the trumpet overtones, because of the power of that instrument. Remember, the louder the initial fundamental pitch, the more overtones it's going to develop, because each overtone diminishes by 2 decibels. So if you've got 1,000 decibel pitch, which we would never have, well, that means, the next overtone is going to be 998 decibels. You know what I'm saying? We need those overtones, and if the trumpet is going to play that sound that loud, those overtones are going to be present, and I want to catch them, so I might want a microphone that has a little bit better high end on it. Last week I brought that nice microphone out here. I told you it was a $1,000 mic, and when we looked at the paperwork on it, it had a little boost in the high end there. It wasn't flat like that mic we just saw. So every microphone has its own special characteristics. And eventually you'll find by using this mic or that mic, trying this mic on that instrument or this mic on that instrument, you'll find I like the sound of this mic here for whatever reasons, you know?